Warren City School District, and he was an avid sports fan. At this time, we would like to honor Bill with a moment of silence. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise for the playing of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner.
The Star-Spangled Banner performed by your Warren G. Harding Raider Marching Band. Good evening, Raider Nation. Once again, sorry about that, Raider Nation. Didn't mean to step over our introduction there. But good evening, and once again, we are live at Mollenkopf Stadium, and it is a beautiful night for playoff football. That's right, playoff football. For the first time, we're able to bring you OHSAA playoff action, especially due to the limited capacity seating we have during this COVID football season. And tonight, your 7th-seeded Warren G. Harding Raiders play host to the Akron North Vikings. Harding coming in at 3-3. The Akron North Vikings have had a very limited schedule at 0-2. Once again, right alongside my partner Eddie Colbert, ready to bring you playoff action. And Eddie, we got kind of an unknown team coming in here tonight.
Yeah, unknown from the two games that they played this year. But Harding, they've had a pretty decent season. They're right in their sweet spot right now. We've seen some big wins over Ursuline and Mooney. We saw a very productive, which I will call a productive win over the Columbus team last year. You've seen that running game start to get really imposed on the opposite teams. You always know they've got Elijah Taylor back there with the arm that can hit those receivers. So they're coming right into their sweet spots right at the best time of the year. Right now as we get in the playoffs, I look to see a great game from the Raiders tonight against this Akron North team.
Harding set to receive the kickoff. Marquand Brown and Dom Foster are the deep backs for Harding on this opening kickoff. Either one of them can score from anywhere on the field. And that's going to be taken by Marquand Brown at about the 22-yard line. Marquand Brown looking for some running room, and he's going to be corralled right. And he pushes forward. He was hit at the 35, pushed it all the way out to the 41-yard line, and the Raiders are opening up with fantastic field position.
As we talked about here in the opening, we all know about the passing game. We all know about the records and where Elijah Taylor stands in the history of being a quarterback here at Warren Harding. But over the last few weeks, Steve Arnold and this Warren Harding team and their offense have been able to get back to the basics of what this team has been based on for decades, and that's a strong running game. Look for them to get that running game established, open up those receivers here on the late downs to be able to get those first downs. Look for a great showing here tonight in the first round of the playoffs by the Raiders.
Elijah Taylor under center, and there's a handoff to Bryson Powell, and Powell breaks a big one right off the bat. First down, Raiders into Akron North territory.
Yeah, just like we talked about Powell in the first carry, right off tackle on the right-hand side, looking for the offensive line to take control early here in the game to be able to establish that running game, be able to wear those defensive linemen down as this game goes on, start to suck those linebackers and those safeties in. That's going to open up the outside for those deep passes, those intermediary passes for Elijah Taylor, something that we've seen work for the Raiders over the last 3 years.
Davion Burgess on the near sideline. Kurt Dorsey up there on the far sideline wide out. Bryson Powell still in at tailback. Powell's going to get the call again, this time off left tackle. And Powell pounds his way again for about 6, make it a 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, another nice carry there by Powell, just establishing that running game here. You know, these are types of plays that really show themselves in the third quarter when that offensive line is worn down, that front 3, front 4 for the opposing team. That just opens up everything for you, whether it be the running game and the play action. That'll open up those passes as we've seen happen over this year.
And again, Dorsey wide left, Burgess wide right. Powell in the backfield, Marco Paterno in the up back, and there's a bad snap, but Taylor gets a hand on it. Taylor still on his feet, and a broken play, but Taylor makes a positive yardage on it. It's going to bring up 3rd and short. Looks like it might be about 3rd and 1 off of that play.
Yeah, it looks like a little confusion there at the line of scrimmage. Looks like Taylor turned around. Him and his running back had a little difference of opinion on the play call there. But once again, you talk about the line establishing themselves here early in the game. Even on a broken play, you were still able to get some positive yards, find yourself in a very manageable 3rd and 1 here early on for the Raiders' opening drive.
Raiders in an I formation in this 3rd down and 1 play. Marco Paterno in the fullback spot. And again, Powell gets the ball. Powell breaks another one. Gets a lot more than 1st down, all the way down to the Akron North 30-yard line.
Yeah, great signs for that offense to begin the game. We talk about the offensive line taking control. They came out in a 4-man front. It looks like they had all 3 linebackers up close in an obvious blitz, expecting that run to come. That's when you start to dominate, when the defense knows what you're going to run. You know what they're going to come at you with, and they still can't stop you. Excellent signs for the Harding offense here early on in the first quarter.
1st and 10, Harding at the Akron North 30-yard line. Powell gets the call once again. Powell breaks loose into the secondary. Powell into the side at 20, and another Raider 1st down to about the Akron North 19-yard line.
Love to see that run out of the junior running back Powell. He came in the Austintown Fitch game, showed a lot of great signs as a junior, as we've seen year after year. Coach Arnold's been able to produce great running backs from their sophomore, junior year, so where they're seniors, they're used to playing under these lights, but you saw that shirt tackle attempt. You saw Powell use that power that he gained during the offseason to be able to get an additional 4 or 5 yards, give the Raiders 1st down and 10 here inside the 20-yard line.
Once again with the I formation, Burgess in motion from right to left on this play. And this time, botch snap, Powell falls on it. The defensive lineman for North broke right through the line of scrimmage and broke that play up. Harding lucky to maintain possession of the ball in that play, gain of maybe half a yard. We're going to call it 2nd down and 9 from just inside the 20.
Yeah, obviously some confusion up front on the line assignments there, the call that was made, something that they're going to watch. They're going to look at those films, upstairs here, make a determination on how that came through. What you've seen from the line thus far, they've been able to stop that rush, so hopefully that's just a misnomer here early in the first quarter.
Dorsey and Burgess are up left. Taylor rolls out to his left. Taylor under pressure, and Elijah Taylor is going to be sacked back around the 28-yard line, so all of a sudden signs of life from that Akron North defensive front.
Well, you've seen that Akron, their ability to try to stop the run is by the blitz. Coach Arnold, the offensive coordinator for the Raiders, they get this, they see it, they're going to adapt to it. If you want to try to use a blitz to try to stop our run, we're going to use play actions, and we're going to throw where the blitz comes from. It's very simple football. Identify the blitz, throw where it's from. If they want to keep on trying to use that blitz in order to stop the run, we're going to exploit it by little throws over the middle and the outside.
3rd and 17, Taylor over the middle. He's got a man open in the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders!
Just as we talked about, Tom, they want to keep on blitzing. That's going to require one-on-ones on the outside. That's going to require those cornerbacks to be able to match up not only with our wide receivers, but you're going to get some situations like you see there when you've got a slot that's matched up on either a safety or a linebacker. The speed's just not there. Elijah Taylor, 3-year starter, is able to identify that at the line of scrimmage, exploit that defense. Harding's on early with a 6-0 lead with 7:38 left in the first quarter.
Elijah Taylor, 27 yards to Davion Burgess, and the kick by Doherty's up, and it's good. And we have a 7-0 lead with 7:38 to play in the first quarter. That's career touchdown pass number 39 for Elijah Taylor. Tops in Harding history to go along with his 4,000-plus career yards passing.
You know, difficult year obviously around Ohio and the country for football, but one of the things that can't be lost is the illustrious career that Elijah Taylor's had. 3-year starter, shows true leadership out there on the field on the offensive side of the ball, really keeping this team with a year that, you know, who knows how it could have went. But when you have as many 3-year starters and 3-year players as Coach Arnold has, it gives you a good feeling going into these playoffs. This is a shortened year, but a lot of these players, they've seen these lights, they've seen the playoffs. They know that when it comes down to this point of the year, you have to bring your game up. Everybody's playing is bringing their game up. Great to see some of the plays that were made out there. Great to see some of the adversity that was faced by the offense and their ability to recover for what seemed to be a fairly simple offensive drive for the Harding Raiders here early against Akron North in the fourth quarter.
Number 8, Swantez Simmons, and number 2, Cartel Lamb are the deep backs for Akron North on this first Harding kickoff. Jake Doherty in to do the kicking chores. Doherty with a short, high kick. That's going to be fielded by Simmons at about the 21-yard line. Simmons looking for some running room along that far sideline. He gets out to about the 26, so good coverage by that Harding kick team. And Akron North will set up first down and 10 at about the 26, 27-yard line.
Tom, looking for a big stand here by the defense. I mean, we've talked about this. I think there's been talk, throughout the week when we knew we drew Akron North 0-2 on the year. This honestly, this should be a game that Harding wins. But with that said, the way Harding wins this game is by doing what they did on offense, but now creating those defensive stops. We've seen during the year, the longer you keep these inferior teams in the game, the more chance you have at them sticking around later in the game and giving you a problem. So we look for a big defensive stand here to keep this run going.
And there's a quick pass out in the flats that's dropped. It's going to bring up a second down and 10. Number 7, Christian Simmons in at quarterback, and he was looking for number 8, Swantez Simmons on that play.
Swantez Simmons, someone we're going to watch later in the game. That's not by accident that was the first play of the game. Trying to get one of their dynamic athletes out in space one-on-one against one of these Raider defenders. Obviously, I have a lot of faith in his ability to be able to take somebody one-on-one, somebody to watch later in this game.
Simmons again back to pass. He's under a lot of pressure, but that pass, it was trapped. Almost looked complete, but it was trapped. Simmons under a lot of pressure from that Raider defensive front brings up a third down and 10.
Yeah, once again, trying to establish a play where, those screen passes are basically long handoffs. They're looking to try to get some of their athletes out in space, one-on-one, with our Raider defenders. I'll take our Raider defenders, those corners and those safeties every day. They've proven it over the year that they've been able to handle themselves in a one-on-one situation. I don't believe this game's going to be any different.
Simmons again in the shotgun, third down and 10. Tries another little dump pass out to the left side, and that falls incomplete. 3 incomplete passes. It is now fourth down and 10 for Akron North, and they are first to punt early on.
Absolutely what the Raider defense wanted to see there. Quick 3 and out. You saw 3 passes that went for nil. Just something for the coaching staff to keep in mind. They've obviously got some faith in their athletes, trying to get them in those one-on-ones. But the Raider defense, those front 4, have been able to get the pressure on the quarterback, throwing some ill-advised passes to the flats. 3 and out, exactly how the Raiders wanted to start this game here against Akron North.
Swantez Simmons on to do the punting. And it is big, looks like a shanked punt straight up in the air. That's going to roll out to about the Akron North 41-yard line. That's about a 3-yard net punt right there. It's going to give Harding a short field to work with on their second possession.
Yeah, excellent position for the Raider offense to come on, continue this momentum, put another 6 on the board, start to put this game away.
Harding offense back out in the field for their second possession. They've got a 1st down and 10 at the Akron North 41-yard line. And Taylor sets up in the shotgun. He's got Powell behind him. And we've got some motion, it looks like.
You saw the look they came out there with. Raiders had 2 receivers high side, came by in what seemed to be that traditional jet sweep to the left. No safety by Akron North. From watching the films, I'm surprised they wouldn't put a safety back deep, but I'm sure the coaching staff has seen that. Watch the receivers up top here. Once again, looks like they are dropping a safety at least mid-range here.
And this time it's the Akron North Vikings with the early start, and Harding gets those 5 yards right back.
I'm sure this is probably one of the bigger stages that Akron North plays on per year, coming here to the historic Mollenkopf Stadium, facing a team as historic as the Harding Raiders. Sure, there's a lot of nerves here. Sure, there's some kids on that side of the Akron ball that really want to make a statement tonight.
Burgess, Red, and Dorsey, the 3 receivers on the top side. Taylor keeps that one, and he is sacked once again, hit high back there at about the 46-yard line. So there's a 5-yard loss, brings up a 2nd down and 15. And Eddie, that Akron North defensive line, they're finding a hole here and there.
Well, the defensive line looks like, from the last play that I saw, looks like they were playing a true 4-3. They're getting some pressure, but they're getting some pressure through some heavy blitzing. Blitzing obviously works, but it obviously has its downfalls. And once the offensive coordinator is able to identify where those blitzers are coming from, you're just going to send people where the blitzers are, and you're going to exploit it.
2nd down and 15. Taylor looking to pass once again. He's looking for Dom Foster over the middle. Oh, in and out of the hands, just a little bit underthrown, and that was another sure 6. Foster had his man beat.
Yeah, once again, we talk about the blitz. If you're going to send that blitz as heavy as you are, you're going to see a lot of one-on-ones, no safety down the middle of the field. Elijah Taylor knows that defense all too well, found his favorite receiver of the year, Dom Foster, just unable to get his hands around that ball to corral it.
And again, Foster on the near sideline. We have Burgess, Red, and Dorsey up on the far sideline. Bryson Powell in the backfield. He sets up to the left of Elijah Taylor. Taylor drops back once again, steps up in the pocket, looking for some room. He's got a man all by himself, way downfield, and just barely misses.
A pass that Elijah Taylor would like back. You saw they had the 2 receivers high side. They had 2 corners. They had that safety back deep. Obviously, they're going to have to pick up that safety's going to have to pick up one of those receivers. Ended up with some confusion in the defensive backfield of Akron North. Receiver wide open. That is a pass, especially on 3rd down, that Elijah Taylor generally does not miss. It's going to force the Raiders into a punting situation.
Taylor had Kanye Red all by himself over there. Now Taylor in to do the punting, and that's a good-looking punt that's going to be fielded. That ball may be live.
That's our ball.
And it is Raider football inside the Akron North 10-yard line on the bobbled punt.
Well, the offense is going to get a chance to redeem itself there. You see, he wasn't able to field that clean. We had fly guys down there ready to attack, able to recover that ball here inside, I believe, the 10-yard line. Going to give the Raiders a 1st and 10. I expect nothing but a run play until we get into the end zone. This is one of those plays you really want to impose your will on the opposing team early on to establish the dominance of the run game in the line of scrimmage.
And Akron North spends its first time out of the half, try to catch their breath a little bit. And, we talked a little bit earlier about offensive line, defensive line establishing themselves. got to wonder how long Akron North's going to be able to hold up. You and I both counted, Eddie. It looks like they have less than 25 ball players on that sideline over there.
Yeah, and this is something that comes in later in the game where you see the wind come in, basically. Where's your conditioning at? Akron North only having 2 games under your belt. Generally speaking, in high school football, they would just be jumping out of scrimmages. You usually have about 2 scrimmages a year. They've only played 2 games a year. So Harding having that experience, the coaching staff having the experience of getting guys in and out, understanding their rotation, this is something that when you look into the late stages of the 3rd quarter and 4th quarter, this is really going to be shown when you start to see these players get worn down, let alone any possibility of injury on the other side.
Kirk Dorsey ride to the left, Davion Burgess right. And Delmar McMillan checks in at tailback for this series of plays for the Harding Raiders. And again, the line moves early down there, and that's going to go against Harding, going to back them up 5 yards, going to make it a 1st and goal from the North 13-yard line.
Something very frustrating to the coaching staff. Last week we talked about the Columbus team that came in here. Harding was able to handle them relatively with ease. Those are the type of games that you want to really see you perfect and really concentrate on those fundamentals of the game. These are the type of things that as we get into the later rounds of the playoffs, these are the things that will kill a drive and lose a game for you.
1st and goal from the Akron North 13-yard line, and it's Delmar McMillan getting the call. McMillan around the end. McMillan dragging a North defender all the way down to the 6-yard line.
Really like these 2 juniors, Powell and McMillan. They were discovered during the Austintown Fitch game. Great. That was probably the game that we came out and really started to finally establish that running game with these 2 juniors. It was great for the game, but even better looking forward to 2021. As we've always said, the coaching staff and this Harding Raiders team have always done well with the next man up, the next year up of establishing these players.
Hand off again to McMillan. And McMillan is just short of the goal line. That's going to bring up 3rd down and goal at the North 1-yard line.
North continuing to get penetration from the front 4 as well as that blitz. But as you see, the blitz overran itself. McMillan was able to exploit that. Less linebackers ended up having to have a safety make the tackle on that play near the 1-yard line.
Dorsey going wide left. We have Davion Burgess down here on the near side. Harding in the I formation. 3rd and goal at the Akron North 1-yard line. And Taylor's going to keep it and walk in easily from the 1-yard line. And Harding, with 4:54 to play in the 1st quarter, goes on top 13-0.
Another easy score by the Raiders there. I like what the coaching staff did. You're down on the 1-yard line, nothing fancy. You tell your linemen, I want to see those defensive backs 5 yards into the end zone. They accomplished that as Elijah Taylor was able to easily walk in for the 2nd score here midway through the 2nd quarter for the Raiders.
Elijah Taylor to hold. Jake Doherty to kick.
Doherty's kick is up, and it's good. And the freshman, Jake Doherty, continues to impress as Harding's place kicker. 4:54 to play, and Harding on top 14-0. Once again, Swantez Simmons, Cartel Lamb back deep for the Vikings. Jake Doherty setting up to kick off once again for Warren Harding with 4:54 to play in the 1st quarter. Harding off of an Elijah Taylor touchdown pass to Davion Burgess and an Elijah Taylor 1-yard quarterback keeper. That's your scoring to this point in the ball game. Taylor with a kick all the way back to the 10-yard line. That looks like Lamb taking that one, looking for some running room. And Lamb gets it out to about the 28-yard line. Akron North, first down and 10 from their own 28-yard line.
Yeah, Tom, Akron North came out in their first possession. You saw they tried to hit a couple screen passes to each side. That gives me the indicator that they feel that they've got some athletes that if they can get in space, can make some plays. We'll see what Akron North can do to keep that front four of the Harding defense off of their quarterback in order to give him the opportunity to make some accurate passes to those guys, to those receivers on the sideline, to see if these playmakers can get anything upfield.
Akron North first down and 10 at their own 29-yard line. And there is some movement again. And that's going to be encroachment on the Raiders. But there was some movement both ways down there, but it's going to go against the Raiders and give 5 yards to the Vikings. They'll have it first down and 5 at the 34.
Yeah, as a coach, I'm going to overly stress to my team that these are the plays that count. These are definitely the plays that count. You should win the game, but you got to tighten this up.
Simmons in a shotgun, and he keeps it, picks up a couple. Gets it out to, looks like the 37-yard line. It's going to bring up a second down and about 3.
Yeah, I can't stress enough, Tom. As a coach, you really want to. These are the fundamentals that you really want to see cleared up. This is playoff time, regardless of what week it is. It's playoff time. Some of these fundamental mental mistakes have to be cleared up for us to be able to advance further into the playoffs.
Simmons getting his play from the shotgun position once again. There's a motion from right to left. Simmons going to keep and try to get around the end. And this time he's not going to make it back to the line of scrimmage. He's going to go down back around the 28-yard line. That's going to bring up a third down and 6.
Excellent play by the right defensive end there. Looked like they were trying to run some type of quarterback to the right, maybe a possible option. Defensive end did his job, made him turn back into the middle. He had 10 more helmets coming at him, exactly how they drew up that play on defense.
Call it third down and 5 from the 34-yard line. Simmons drops straight back. Gets his pass off downfield. That's picked off by the Raiders. That ball's returned to the sideline, and he's going to take it in all the way. Pick 6 for Harding. And Marion Perkins on the pick 6 for Harding. And the Raiders go on top 20-0 with 3:28 to play in the first quarter.
Quarterback dropped back. Didn't recognize the zone. Amarion Perkins dropped back into that zone. Quarterback did not recognize him, threw it right to him. It was off to the races to the end zone, picked up a couple blocks to put Harding up here early, 20-0 in the first quarter.
Jake Doherty on once again to attempt his third extra point of the evening. Kick is up, and it is good. And your Harding Raiders go on top 21-0 with 3:28 to play in this first quarter.
Tom, I'll tell you, as we talked about this game coming in with Akron North only having 2 games under its belt, obviously Harding is expected to win tonight. So I'm looking for fundamentals. I'm looking for those offsides. I'm looking for those false starts. But I'm also looking at young Jake Doherty. Young Jake Doherty is a freshman, has done a yeoman's job this year in doing exactly what the Raiders needed him to do on his extra points as well as his field goals. As a freshman, we have high hopes for him. But these are some of the fundamentals that I think you try to take away from this game into the later rounds of the playoffs. You really want to perfect a lot of the fundamentals. Obviously, we've talked about how important that kicking game is, 7 versus 6, 3 versus 0. So I'm looking for a big game from young Jake Doherty tonight, being able to capitalize on the opportunities that he's given. A lot of confidence going into the second round.
This time it looks like number 85, Luke Clayholes, is on to do the kicking. And Clayholes with a kick that's going to be fielded around the, I guess you got to field it. And still live. A little confusion by the deep backs for Akron North that time. He managed to fall on the ball all the way back at the 12-yard line.
Yeah, 21-0 early here. Nothing going right for the Akron North team. Everything going right for the Raiders. But I can tell you, the coaching staff down there, they still want to see, you complete the play. They want to see the fundamentals. These are the types of games, these are the types of situations that you can really look at some of the finer points of your team. Get some other guys in, look at next man up. Any play, a guy can go down, you got to get somebody in. And so with the score 21-0, there's a lot of things that the Raiders can do that will play a big part in the later rounds of the playoffs.
Christian Simmons on once again. He's going to keep it once again and maybe just barely get back to the line of scrimmage. And I can't tell whether that was designed or not. There's some hesitation there, as though there was some confusion in that backfield once again.
Yeah, 21-0 early. I can tell you, unfortunately, a few times I've been in this situation as a player and as a coach. From the standpoint of the other side, being the Harding Raiders side, you just want to keep it going. You want to show that you have the ability to complete the game, to play the full game. Don't let them get back in. You put your foot on them. You close it out early.
Simmons picked up one on that first down play, gets the ball handed off this time, and Akron North may have picked up another yard. Actually, looks like by the spot, they're going to probably just back to the line of scrimmage once again. Brings up a 3rd down and 9, so no gain on that play.
Yeah, Harding finds themselves, or Akron North finds themselves in a 3rd and long situation. Haven't been able to establish that running game, so play actions aren't going to work for them. Haven't shown the ability or even the attempt at this point to stretch the field. They've run some things around the line of scrimmage when they're with these screen passes, as well as some unsuccessful runs. Safeties, middle linebackers, no different than, if you were down. You got to maintain your positions, maintain your areas. Don't start looking in the backfield. Don't give them anything cheap. One mistake, one eyes in the backfield, and a long pass down the sideline gives them the confidence, puts them right back in this game early. You want to keep the pressure on, offense and defense. Put this out of reach. Get some of those 2nd, 3rd string guys in there. Get them some reps, and start looking forward to next week.
Akron North spends its 2nd timeout of this first half. We're not out of the first quarter yet. They're going to come back on the field to a 3rd and 9 situation. Ball at their own 15. Christian Simmons at quarterback with Swantez Simmons right behind him, number 7 and 8 for the Vikings. And Simmons with the handoff to Swantez Simmons. Simmons trying to pound his way out there. Gets maybe a couple. And that's going to bring him about a 4th down and 6 from around the 18-yard line. So looks like Akron North is going to be forced to punt from deep in its own territory. And
Tom, as I look at this Akron North team, I see a lot of underclassmen over there. I do see a good representation of a senior class, but I also do see a good representation of underclassmen that are getting some playing time for this Akron North team. Big challenge as they come up here to Harding to take on this Raiders team. I'm sure this is a learning experience for them as well, and I'm sure a game like this will do great for those underclassmen as they go into their 2021 season after having the experience against a team like this Raider offense and defense.
And a little confusion on the punt alignment for Akron North as they are hit with, looks like, a delay of game penalty. And apparently that is being waved off. And North has spent its final timeout of the half to avoid that, just barely avoid that delay of game penalty. So they'll be coming back out to a 4th down and 6. Swantez Simmons doing the punting for Akron North. Dom Foster is going to step back deep for the Raiders.
Another exciting player, Dom Foster. Elijah Taylor's #1 receiver down the sideline. Also a major threat to return, but as you can see, he's nothing but about 15 yards back. A little better punt than we saw the first time. Going to drive him back.
Foster's going to field it. Back around to 45, and good coverage by the Akron North team. Is going to take Foster down all the way back at the Raider 40-yard line. Foster forced to retreat on that punt after the first punt from Akron North was a little more than a shank punt. Foster was up playing shallow center field on that one. He got driven back, and as such, it gave the North coverage team a chance to drag him down back there. Looks like Harding will set up first down and 10 from their own 41-yard line.
Yeah, nice play by Foster there. Too many times we watch at this level, we watch the two deep backs on a punt team let that ball bounce, gives the punt team an extra 15 to 20 yards. He got on his horse, got back there, fielded it. It's going to put Harding on their side of the ball at the 40. We'll see how Coach Arnold and the coaching staff choose to come out here first and 10 on the 40-yard line.
Taylor rolls out to his right, looking downfield. He's got out of the backfield, I believe that's Wallace, number 18.
Williams, 5'8".
Sorry, number 18.
Junior.
Maurice Williams out of the backfield on that pass reception for a Raider first down.
Yeah, lots of weapons here for the Raiders, especially coming up from that junior class. Once again, gives you a lot to look forward to in the 2021 season. But Elijah Taylor was able to find him wide open out there in the flats by himself after that rollout. He was able to get upfield, lower the shoulder pad level, and give himself an extra 2 to 3 yards.
Delmar McMillan back in at the tailback spot. McMillan gets the hand of McMillan, breaks the line of scrimmage, and McMillan is going to take it all the way 42 yards for another Raider touchdown.
McMillan off the right-hand side. I don't know if he got touched for the first 10, 15 yards of his carry. Shows a lot of great potential here for the senior year coming up with these running backs. Love to see him get outside there. Love to see him get upfield, north and south. Not a lot of jukes. He found the open area, hit that sideline straight up to the end zone. Puts Harding up here early in the first quarter, 27-0.
And Doherty goes 4 for 4 on his extra points. And the Raiders take a 28-0 lead with 26 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Well, Tom, 28-0 here in the first quarter. I'm not quite sure of the rules. I'm pretty confident another score, maybe on that score there, you're going to start to see a running clock.
I think it might be 35.
35. Well, it looks like we're not too far from that. Really look to see Coach Arnold start to get some of these younger players in here, get them some time under the lights. This does nothing but prepare this team for later years or later in the season if a player were to go down. So exactly how we expected this game to start out. Really want to see them move forward, really concentrate on the fundamentals. If you're an offensive lineman, really work on those block assignments. Defensive lineman, work on staying low, ripping, getting through, corners, staying on your man, not looking in the backfield. These are games that you want to really focus on the fundamentals, especially at this point of the season when you're looking at the playoffs and you're looking to advance.
Once again, number 85, sophomore Luke Clayholz on to do the kicking. And we have whistles at the beginning, and Harding may have been just a little bit over-eager on that kick. I think we're going to see an offsides or illegal procedure on the kick team. So we're going to try this again from the 35-yard line. Yeah, those are things you're talking about, Ed. Those again, you want to get those worked out before you get to round 2.
Yeah, you don't want to get sloppy. Real easy to get sloppy in a game like this. I can tell you from being in the huddle, as things start getting a little loose. You feel good. You can kind of do anything. But this is when you really want to tighten down and really work on those fundamentals that will come in favor for you as you get deeper here into the playoffs.
Clayholz with the kick that's going to be fielded around the 26-yard line. And that looked like that's number 2, Cartel Lamb on that return. He's going to get forced out about the 40. So probably the best field position of the evening so far for the Akron North Vikings. They're going to see if they can't get something going. They're on the short end of an early 28-0 score, and we're not through the first quarter yet.
Yeah, up here in the booth, we can talk about it, obviously. We don't want the coaches and players to think about it, but, very difficult not to start looking forward at the games that you got coming up. Start looking at that bracket, trying to figure out, who's going to fall where. And, we've had long conversation. It looks like, where the Raiders wind up in this bracket, it looks like we're headed to another matchup with Fitch. Fitch was a breakout game for the Raiders. They did end up with the loss, but establishing that running game for the first time of the year, you've seen it carry on here into the first round of the playoffs.
And this time, Christian Williams hits Swantez Williams on that little flat screen pass there, and Swantez gets it out about 8 yards, brings up a 2nd down and 2, and probably the biggest offensive play for the Vikings so far.
Yeah, one of their first positive plays going to get them here close to midfield on a 2nd and 2 as we come to the end of the first quarter.
And at the end of one, Harding Raiders 28, Akron North Vikings 0. We've seen a touchdown pass from Elijah Taylor, Davion Burgess. Taylor had a quarterback sneak for a touchdown. We've seen a pick 6 out of Marion Perkins. And last but not least, Delmar McMillan with a 42-yard sprint down the right sideline to cap off the scoring so far.
Just send us a fireworks so we can wear our hats, so we can put on the show. Go Raiders. Mask off.
Opening up the second quarter, Akron North with a 2nd down and 2 at their own 48-yard line. Christian Simmons in that shotgun all by himself in the backfield. He's got 2 receivers left. He's got 3 receivers right. And he's under a lot of pressure, and Christian Simmons is going to go down way back at the 35-yard line. Call it the 34-yard line. Looks like we're going to have a 3rd down and 14 off of that big defensive sack.
Looks like the right end. That was 28, Devontae McElroy. He came hard off of the quarterback's blind side. When he caught him at the end, it was too late. Had the other end coming in. Just too much pressure being established by the Harding front 4 for that Akron North offensive line to be able to handle.
3rd down and 14. And what started out as the most promising drive so far for the Vikings as kind of turns south as Simmons looks over. And again, another incomplete pass. It's going to bring up 4th down and 14.
Something for Akron North to be careful of. They borderlined right there on that being a backwards pass. Just have not been able to complete what's obvious they've worked on all week in practice to try to establish those outside screen passes. Quarterback just hasn't had the ability to be able to complete the pass out there to his playmakers in some space to try to make some plays against this Harding defense.
Number 81, John Taylor, steps in to handle the return duties for the Raiders. And number 8, Swantez Simmons, back to do the punting for the Vikings. Vikings with the ball at their own 36-yard line.
Interesting formation.
And there's a flag on the play, and that punt's going to be down at about the 37-yard line of Warren Harding. Let's see what the flag's about here on this 4th down. I see a referee counting down here. Maybe somebody didn't have enough people out here.
Yeah, maybe too many, or
I hear 12 players down there. I think I could hear the ref saying 12, so looks like Akron North had one too many.
Oh, legal man. Somebody took off a little early. I'm sorry, 2 hands. That might have been too many. Illegal participation. I'm sorry, 2 hands is illegal participation. 1 hand is the illegal man downfield.
Not sure. Looks like Harding may. Harding's going to decline that penalty and keep the ball right where they have it.
Always an interesting call to decline or accept those penalties. You know, you can get, especially with a team with the minimal players they have, they just did a big wind sprint down the field. A lot of times you want to make them do that again, see if they come down there tired, and maybe you can break one.
Taylor and Burgess are lined up to the right. And this time the handoff is to the upback, Marco Paterno. I believe that was Marco Paterno in there at fullback. No, number 40, Quincy Brown.
Yeah,
on that carry. Used to seeing number 22, Marco Paterno in there. They had Quincy Brown in that fullback position that time. And Brown was able to pick up about 7 on that play out to the 45-yard line. Brings down a 2nd down and 3. And Brown will stay in there in the backfield. And it looks like number 18, Marjorie Williams, also with him. So the Raiders already beginning to substitute freely in this ball game. And this time the handoff is to Williams. Williams is going to bang ahead for the first down. It's more. Williams breaks through the tackle, and Marjorie Williams is going to take this all the way for another Raider touchdown.
Great run by Williams there, but that was all set up by the fullback, senior 6'1", 220 Quincy Brown. Once again, Akron North sent that blitz. Quincy Brown, with that big body, was able to pick up that initial penetration, was able to break Williams to the left side. Look at the yards after first contact as you see this. You see him touched at the line of scrimmage. He was able to power through that, pop out to the left side there, keep his momentum going. It was nothing but a foot race to the end zone. You see a late block there by Dom Foster to help spring him.
And Jake Doherty goes 5 for 5 on extra points. It's a 35-0 Harding lead. And I think we're at the point, Eddie, I think that's going to bring us to the continuous clock now.
Yeah, this is, once again, not unexpected. But there's still some things to take away from this game. The things I'm going to be watching is, once again, I can't talk about it enough, is the fundamentals. You know, the mental part of this game, doing what you were coached to do, being on your assignments, keeping in your space, you know, keeping good space, really focusing on all of the fundamentals that you've been taught from when you were playing with the Little Raiders on up here to playing Friday night under these lights. These are the things that the coaches want to watch. At this point, the scoreboard does not matter. We're looking at individuals and their ability to really focus on the fine fundamentals of the game here. These are the type of things that are going to win in the late quarters as we start to progress into these playoffs. Like I said, at this point, the scoreboard doesn't matter. Just continue to look at the fundamentals. Look at their abilities to stay onside, not to jump off sides. Look at the ability for the quarterback to make the reads, running backs to see the holes, linemen be able to sustain those blocks. Those are the types of things that the coaches are going to be watching on the field as well as tomorrow in film sessions.
Clay Holes with the kick, and I believe that's Swantez Simmons trying to get out to the sideline, and he doesn't make it. He's pulled down there at about the 21-yard line, and that's where the Vikings will set up 1st down and 10 for this series of plays. Once again, if you're just joining us, you've already missed a bunch. Harding on top 35-0 early in this second quarter, 9:53 to play before the halftime. Harding scoring in a variety of ways. 2 long runs by McMillan and Williams. Long touchdown pass to Davion Burgess from Elijah Taylor, the 39th of his stellar career. And quarterback keeper for a yard for Elijah Taylor. And we also had a pick 6 by Amarian Perkins. So a lot going on right now. And none of it, unfortunately, is going in the way of the Akron North Vikings as we are in the continuous clock. Clock is running. 1st and 10 Vikings at their own 21-yard line. And Simmons with the handoff up the middle, and maybe a yard on that play. Looks like they'll get him out to the 22 for a 2nd down and 9 play upcoming.
You know, another good opportunity for the Raiders in this game is to start showing some of these future playoff teams some different looks. You know, some different players, some different looks, just giving them some things that they got to think about. You know, whether it's switching up this 4-3, jumping into a 3-4, whether it's running some nickel, whatever it may be, just the opportunity to be able to give some of our future opponents some different things that they got to worry about during the week of practice.
And there's another handoff up the middle, and again, goes back. That's going to go for a yard loss, bring up a 3rd down and 10. So Akron North not being able to do anything in there at the line of scrimmage. So I think Harding has definitely established a dominance in the trenches on this game.
Yeah, excellent job up front by the offense and the defensive line. Being able to get penetration on the defensive side with just your front four really frees up the defense to just do a whole bunch of things that none of them are good for the offense.
Christian Simmons drops back to pass under a lot of pressure. He's being chased around, and he's going to go down back there at the 6-yard line. Number 51, Kincaid Tyson, bringing Christian Simmons down way back there.
Another 3 and out here, going to bring up a 4th and 23 for Akron North. And Tom, to be honest with you, from the standpoint of the analyst, it's becoming highly difficult to keep on coming up with different words to express how well Harding is doing on the field. Great to see it, but once again, I can't reiterate enough how you can always take something out of these games, and as a coach, what I would be looking for is the fundamentals.
John Taylor set to field this punt. Breaks the first tackle up the middle, and he's going to get it up to about the 23-yard line where he's brought down. And Harding once again with an extremely short field to work with. 1st and 10 at the Akron North 23-yard line.
Yeah, Raiders once again are going to take over with some great field position. We'll see if they bring their starting quarterback Elijah Taylor back onto the field here with a 35-0 lead here, a little less than midway through the first quarter.
Looks like Taylor's going to be coming back out for at least one more series. He has the only other regular in there with him right now. I see Dom Foster lined up down here. Davion Burgess out, so his normal receivers are in. We have Brown and Williams, and Marjorie Williams with another carry. Williams fighting ahead for a bunch of yards. Gets up maybe 5 yards in that play. 2nd down and 5 up to the north 18-yard line.
Yeah, Marjorie Williams, one of the first times you hear us calling his name this year. Like his straightforward north-south running, like that lunge at the end there to get himself a couple extra yards, bringing up a 2nd and 5. That could have easily been a 2nd and 7. Like to see these young running backs fighting for those extra yards.
2nd down and 5. Harding in the I formation. The handoff is again to, looks like, is that Marjorie Williams once again down there? They're bringing, yes, it was Marjorie Williams. Want to make sure because Harding is bringing in people freely right now with this 35-point lead in the second quarter. But Williams with another carry gets 3, make it a 3rd down and 2 at the 15-yard line.
Well, you see the mistake by the Akron defense there on the replay. You saw that high tackle, and then you saw the junior carry him for another 3-4 yards. In practice, you constantly teach. Hit them low, wrap, bring them down there. Somebody wants to hit you high, take them on a ride for 3 or 4 yards.
John Taylor splits wide right. The handoff once again is to Marjorie Williams. Williams bounces it outside. He looks like he's going to get a 1st down to around the 11-yard line. 1st and 10 Raiders at the north 11.
Yeah, once again, really like what I see out of this junior running back. You watch as he takes the ball here. First contact at the line of scrimmage. Second contact 2 yards down, but he drives and drives, keeps those legs turning, lunges forward for an additional 2-3 yards here to give Harding a 1st down inside the 20-yard line with 5 minutes left here in the second quarter.
Yeah, we got a chance to see him last week against Sycamore and made the comment, 5'8", 185, low center of gravity. From up here, it looks like he's on a powerful set of legs in there. He's going to get the ball once again, and again up the middle, and gets ahead for another 4 yards into about the 7 or 8 yard line.
Well, once again on that run, you see the initial contact. As he takes the ball here up the middle, you see that initial contact, and you see him grind forward for another 2-3 yards. Too many times at this level and younger, everybody wants to try to break it outside. They want to put that foot in the ground. They want to break outside. They want to dance. They want to get outside. They want to try to outrun everybody. You realize at a certain time that you can't outrun everybody. You got to lower that pad level, lunge forward, get yourself an additional 4 or 5 yards.
And there's flags on the play as Williams gets the call once again, drives it up around the 5-yard line. We may have seen the last of Elijah Taylor tonight as Trayvon Allen came in to take that last snap for the Raiders.
Yeah, smart move, too. I mean, you're well in control of this game. Obviously, Elijah Taylor is not only the heart of this offense, but as a 3-year starter and a senior, he's obviously a big deal to this team as a whole, including the defense. Does the punting duties for him. Something like that can come in favor later in the season, keeping that punt return team on their toes. But smart move by the coach. Don't want to see something stupid happen where he drops back, maybe gets rolled on, does an ankle, maybe a pass, hits a helmet, injures a finger. So smart move by the coaching staff here early in the game, late in the second half, to start to really focus on and get some of these younger players in the game.
Trayvon Allen's going to try to keep this one, and Trayvon Allen takes it in for another Raider touchdown.
Yeah, just not much more to say. Total dominance up front by the offensive line. I don't think he got touched until he got roughly to the goal line. These are the type of things that you want to see. You want to see total dominance. You don't want to see kind of a lackluster performance. Very proud to see how these kids came out and performed today and how the coaching staff got them ready for this Week 1 playoff game here in 2020.
And Luke Clayholes comes in to get a shot at an extra point. Low snap, but Clayholes gets the kick up. And it is good. And Clayholes keeps the kicking unit perfect on the night. 42-0. Warren Harding with 3:33 to play in the first half.
Tom, we talk about three aspects of football: offense, defense, and special teams. Jake Doherty all year has proven himself as a reliable kicker, but we talk about next man up. You never know. Jake Doherty goes down, you're going to need that second person to come in, so no better time other than a game like this to get your second kicker in there, get him some opportunity, get him some time when the nerves aren't on, and get him comfortable out here under the lights. If need be, next week, the week after, next man up. Excellent opportunity for everybody on the team here to prepare themselves to make this run into the playoffs.
And the same can be said for Trevor Allen, 6'2", 185-pound junior quarterback. And now that may well be the future of this offense after Elijah Taylor graduates on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, big shoes to step into, but Elijah had big shoes to step in as well. I believe there was a kid, maybe his name was something, maybe Lynn something. You might have heard of him. And he had to fill those shoes. Obviously not the same player that Lynn is with his legs, but has been able to show that diversity with his arm, and it's proven by the record books.
Clayhole's kick will be fielded at the 15-yard line. I believe that's Swantez Simmons. And Simmons is brought down after about a 10, 11-yard return. They're going to spot him at the 26-yard line, 1st and 10 north at the 26-yard line with 3:18 to play in the half.
I want to take an opportunity to congratulate the yellow team and the black team from the 7th and 8th grade, as well as the freshman team this week, Wednesday and Thursday. They were able to complete the sweep over Boardman. Excellent games, especially for these younger kids. They're going to play Boardman in the future, and winning games at this level is going to give them all the confidence as they get into the upper ranks of the varsity level that they can beat these teams, return Harding to what we know. To what we know as a dominant force around this area, around this league. But I've got high hopes for Harding this year. They were able to turn it on at the right time, get that run game established, obviously complemented by the passing game. I think they enter the playoffs at a perfect time.
There's another handoff up the middle, and absolutely nothing happening for Akron North in the middle of that line of scrimmage. That's going to result in no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 upcoming. Again, clock continuing to run. We're in the continuous clock situation. So until Akron North puts a few points on the board, that's where we're going to be. They're going to need to put a couple scores on the board to get the clock to start stopping for them a little bit. 2nd down and 10 from the 25-yard line. And look like both receivers for North try to get an early start that time. That's going to back them up 5 yards. Take them back to the 20-yard line. 2nd down and 15 for Akron North with under 2 minutes to play now in the first half.
Come out with max protection in the backfield here. He's got 2 receivers to his left and right. Raiders not showing a blitz. he's going to have some time here to possibly get this pass off if the front five can keep the front four of the Harding Raider defense out.
And there's another attempt at a run up the middle that is quickly shut down by that Raider defensive line. Brings up another third down and very long for the Akron North Vikings.
Yeah, Akron doesn't have the ability right now to establish anything offensively. That's all derived from the fact that they can't control the line of scrimmage. I got the idea that for the screens, if I were the Akron offense right now, I'd probably be trying to look towards the middle, see if you could maybe beat those inside linebackers, maybe use that defense's pressure against them.
This time Simmons is going to try to keep it around the end, and he's going to be forced out of bounds after a gain of about maybe 4 yards on that. Looks like they're going to spot him out around the 24-yard line. Still going to be 4th down and 11.
Yeah, too much speed, just too much speed for the Akron North offense to deal with. You saw the quarterback that was a straight keeper to the right-hand side. You would have expected probably to see maybe a pull a guard or a tackle to try to get them out there to provide some linemen. Maybe take that receiver they had to the near side for a crack back on the defensive end or something. None of that was able to come to fruition for the Akron North offense, and hence you see the minimal gain on 3rd down, going to bring up a 4th and 11 here with 6 seconds left.
And a flag on the play, and then we have another delay of game penalty. North out of timeout, so they weren't able to stop that play clock this time, so it's going to back them up another 5 yards. It looks like that's the end of the first half. So the delay of game penalty, Harding's going to decline that and not force the Vikings to punt on this final play of the half. So that's the end of your first half from Mollenkopf Stadium. Harding Raiders on top of the Akron North Vikings, 42-0. So stay tuned. The Harding band's coming out to perform. Enjoy their show. And Eddie and I will be back in just a few minutes with the second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we present the 2020 Raider Running Band. The band is under the direction of Rico and Heather Cerny. Main line instructors are Chris Wilkie, Gabby Jones, flight instructor Celeste Harris. Percussion instructors are Brian Young and Jason Harris. The band is led on the field by field commanders Caleb Owsley and Kiara Speakus and head drummer Maurice Patterson. This year we perform our show 2020 as we present a year in review through music. Our show opens with a song from the 90s by the group The Offspring. Here is The Kids Aren't All Right. Up next is a triple feature highlighting our flag line, drum line, and majorettes. First up is the Raider flag line to Bad Guy, followed by this year's drumline feature, and ending with the 2020 majorettes performing to Mic Drop. We end our show with the Raider Band looking forward as we have high hopes for the future. like to thank all of you for being a wonderful audience tonight. Now join us as we cheer our Raider team. There they go, ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 fans, the third and fourth quarters will be 8-minute quarters and under a continuous clock. Scores of interest: Akron Firestone 9, Maple Heights 7, Allen 14, Akron Buckle nothing, Niles 14, Ravenna nothing, Boardman 21, Cuyahoga Falls nothing.
Well, welcome back, Raider Nation, as we get just an absolutely gorgeous view of our stadium from high above with our drones. So I hope you're enjoying these pictures brought to you by WSCN. Again, you can remember that this is, Eddie and I get to come on here and talk and look good, but it's the students who do all the heavy lifting around here. They're the ones handling the camera work. They're putting the graphics together. You see replays. You see things that really typically aren't done at a high school level. And all the credit goes to Fred Whitaker, Frank Bozak, and their crew of students putting this all together and give us the opportunity to be part of just an amazing broadcast for a high school football game.
Yeah, Tom, you can't really say it enough. The time and the dedication, and it's all panned out here on Friday night. As you watch these games and you see the graphics, you talk about the replays. I can't get enough of that drone shot that you see from up above, and just think of how nice that's going to look as you see this stadium packed, hopefully here in 2021. But you try to get your you try to get your lemonade out of your lemons. I know from the city standpoint, we had a lot of big plans, not only for the summer, but as we hit the holiday season, a lot of big plans coming in here to 2020 that unfortunately have been put on hold by COVID. But the lemonade that we try to get from the lemons that have been given to us is the opportunity to be able to take any of those things that coming into the year that we weren't able to get to, or the private businesses you weren't able to just get completely done like you wanted to, gave us a little bit of extra time. So 2021 will just be off the charts, not only for the city of Warren, but obviously for Warren Harding, their scholastics, their athletics, and specifically for WSCN and the type of effort that's been put into this broadcast. I mean, just from last year to this year, to see the change is just amazing, and just hats off to everybody involved, and a big thank you for allowing two guys like us, two old players, to be able to come back here and be able to experience football on another level from the broadcasting booth. Just hats off to them, and thank you for the opportunity.
Once again, Harding at halftime with a 42-0 lead on the Akron North Vikings. If you heard the announcement over the PA system before we came back on, we will be not only going to a continuous clock in the second half, but it has been agreed upon to shorten the quarters to 8 minutes. So the second half is going to pass by rather quickly. Harding, again, 42-0. Just a little recap of the scoring. We've seen it. Elijah Taylor's 39th career touchdown pass as he hit Davion Burgess to open the scoring. Taylor had a 1-yard keeper a little bit later on. And Marion Perkins had an interception return for a touchdown, pick 6 for Marion. Delmar McMillan and Marjorie Williams each had long touchdown runs, and the closing was closed out in the first half with Trayvon Allen with the quarterback keeper, as Trayvon Allen makes an appearance in the ball game in relief of Elijah Taylor. And I'm pretty sure we'll see Trayvon Allen the rest of the way this evening. I'm pretty sure that the Harding starters are going to take an early break tonight and start getting ready for next week's contest. I believe Harding will play host to the winner of the Maple Heights Akron Firestone game, and a halftime score out in that area, I think, had Firestone on top of Maple Heights 9-7. So we'll have to keep an eye on that ball game, because the winner of that contest will make their way over to Mollenkopf next Friday. In the meantime, looks like we will have, once again, Luke Clayholes on to do the kicking. Jake Daugherty also getting a little bit of extra rest this morning, but Harding losing nothing. Clayholes has come in and done a fine job since coming in. Simmons and Lamb back to do the return, and that looks like that is Lamb handling the kickoff, trying to get some room. Lamb gets out around this end. Looks like he's got a little bit of running room, and he's going to be chased out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So on a bright note for Akron North, they get some decent field position, but there is a flag down back there, so Akron North may not be getting the field position that we originally thought they were going to get.
Yeah, Tom, and we saw Coach Arnold huddle up with the referees after the end of the first half there with that conversation. I think the right move to shorten the quarter, obviously continue with that running clock. Don't want to see anybody get hurt on either side of the ball. I was given the information that Harding in preparation for this game, did dress a number of freshmen that you might be able to see get into the game. We've talked in the beginning that Akron North came in here with a minimal amount of players. They don't really have the option of being able to sub in and sub out. Something that the Harding coaching staff wants to keep in mind as you start playing some of these younger players that are lining up against starters, juniors and seniors on the other side. Coach Arnold's been around long enough. I know he knows how to manage that, so no worries there, but just an excellent opportunity to get some of these younger players in, get them some time here under the lights here at Mollenkopf Stadium to only better prepare them for future years as they take on starting roles.
The penalty on the kickoff return has moved Akron North back to their own 23-yard line, negating a nice return by Cartel Lamb on that second half kickoff. And this pass is complete for some yards. Looks like maybe about 3 yards on a play, bring up a 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, you can see, Tom, they're still trying to establish that screen pass there to the outside. Hasn't really bared much fruit for them. Harding, understanding that, you can see they're playing that safety no more than 9 to 11 yards deep. At this point in the game, they're in the shotgun. They've got a little bit of time. I would start trying to stretch the field to get those linebackers back, get those safeties moved back to possibly try to open up the run for them.
Christian Simmons still doing the quarterbacking for Akron North. And he's going to keep this one and maybe pick up another yard up the middle. Looks like he'll get 2 out to about the 28-yard line. Brings up a 3rd down and 5 for the Vikings. I was kind of looking for a possible backup quarterback, but then I keep remembering they've got maybe 25 guys on that sideline. They don't have too much in the way of backups over there, unfortunately. So we're going to see the Akron North starters probably for the remainder of this ball game. 3rd down and 5 coming up as the clock continues to run. Already down to just over 5 minutes left to play in this third quarter. Simmons trying that hard snap, trying to get that defense to jump. And this time the handoff is to Swantez Simmons up the middle, and Simmons is met hard at the line of scrimmage. Looks like you're going to lose the yard in that play, bring up a 4th down and 6, and Akron North will be forced to punt right out of the gate on the second half.
Yeah, I think at this point Akron North kind of just going through the motions. You had a 3rd and 5 there, which most coaches would see as more of a 3rd manageable. You would have possibly expected something a little more sophisticated than just a dive up the middle, maybe some play action, maybe an opportunity to stretch the defense. But Akron North showing that they're not going to kneel the ball, but they're willing to kind of just run this one out, take the season for what it's worth, regroup, look towards that 2021 season in order to try to rebuild and just revamp this team, leave here with no injuries. The type of season that everybody's had, I don't think there's any shame in how the season went, and very proud of this Akron North team that they haven't given up. They have, they have decided to continue to try to establish something here. Just look for this game to kind of run through its motions and get out of here with no serious injuries.
Delay of game penalty pushes them back another 5 yards, and a low kick. Taylor fields that one, and he's going to be met immediately at the 50-yard line. It looks like they're going to mark him down at the Raider 48-yard line. And who knows with Akron North, Eddie? They still have the opportunity. They may schedule another game or two, try and get some of the players over there. Not only a little bit more experience, as they obviously try to have to build for 2021, but some of their seniors get their seniors out in the field another time or two.
That is the tough thing, and that's the tough thing for anyone. Being a senior this year, at least they did get the opportunity. Going back to last year, the spring sports and the end of the winter sports were cut short. So it's always a great thing to get the opportunity. Hopefully they're able to really cherish this year, and a few of them maybe go on to the next level, but really cherish this time.
And the handoff is to number 21, Devin Boss. Gets it down to the Akron North 30-yard line. So a big run there for the 5'7", 150-pound sophomore, making his initial appearance in the ball game tonight. And I'm sure that's his first carry for the Raiders varsity team this season. I don't recall his name. A nice nice big chunk of yardage there for Devin Boss out of the backfield as he stays in there with Trayvon Allen. 1st and 10 Raiders at the Akron North 30-yard line. And this time Allen pulls it out, tries to keep it, and breaks a tackle and gets positive yardage. He was hit a couple times in the backfield. Gets it down about the 25-yard line. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 5 for the Raiders.
Yeah, a lot of will you saw from the quarterback there. He was hit in the backfield. He was hit high. We talk about that again. You hit him high, you take him for a ride. He was able to kind of shrug off that initial contact, get past the line of scrimmage for some positive yards.
2nd down and 5. Trayvon Allen with Devin Boss to his left. Boss gets the call once again. I think there might be a face mask. They've been hitting high all night, and I think I saw a hand up around the face mask area on that play, possibly.
Yeah, it looked like there might have been a little confusion on the line as well. Something didn't seem right up front there. It looked like you saw some action from part of the team and not. I'm not sure if there was some confusion on the count. Looks like they're going to call
actually,
a hold.
It's a holding on Harding. I thought I saw some hands up high around Devin Boss's shoulder neck area. Thought the head turned once, but the official saw a hold on the Harding side of the ball. So that's going to back Harding up to about the 32-yard line, bring up a 2nd down 12, maybe a 2nd down and 13 from the 33-yard line.
Yeah, once again, you go back to the high tackles that you're seeing from this Akron North team. Just too much strength out of the running backs as well as obviously the quarterback from Harding. You've got to go low, you've got to wrap, you've got to hit them around the legs in order to bring them down.
Trayvon Allen with the quarterback keeper. Allen inside at 20. Allen with the 1st down to the 15-yard line.
Another nice play by Allen there. Don't know if that might have been a designed run. He dropped back, saw an opening to the right side. You see some great sustaining of the blocks up front by his lineman. Able to get him down there. You saw him just like a running back be able to tuck that ball, lower that shoulder pad level, bull forward for another additional 3 to 4 yards. Going to put him in great position here as we get close to the end of the 3rd quarter.
There's another handoff to Devin Boss, but he's met immediately. That's going to be a loss of about 3 or 4 yards as we get down 20 seconds play in this 3rd quarter rather.
Yeah, assume that Harding's going to let that clock run down, get this into the 4th quarter.
Looks like they're starting to walk down the other side of the field as we speak. So clock winding down, 7-6, 5 seconds left in this 3rd quarter, and that's the end of 3 as Warren Harding takes a 42-0 lead into the 4th quarter against the Akron North Vikings. And again, we are in continuous clock mode. We are in shortened quarter mode, so 8 minutes left to play in this contest.
Yeah, 8 minutes with a running clock. Obviously, this game goes on pretty quick. I believe that's the same time that the junior high goes to. They got a running clock, just trying to keep everybody safe here. Hats off to the shortened season for this Akron North team. Give them a lot of credit for coming up here. They could have easily just decided to bow out, but their coaches, the players, their cheerleaders, their parents, they all put in the work preseason to be able to see a season. So very grateful that they got the opportunity to come in here and play. A game like this is something that you want to put the score out of your mind, but the memories of coming up to such a historic stadium like Mollenkopf to be able to compete is something that they'll never forget. I'm sure as the years go on, the tales will get different as they talk to their kids about their opportunity here. But what a great honor, to be able to come up to a place like Mollenkopf Stadium here in Warren Harding, being able to take on a team here in the playoffs. Hats off to them and the effort that they were able to put in tonight, and their willingness to come compete.
And there's something we haven't seen yet tonight. The attempt at a jet sweep around the left end and maybe falls ahead for a couple there. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 13 from the Akron North 18-yard line.
It'll be 3rd and 15 for the Raiders. Ball's on the 19-yard line.
Couldn't see who got the call on that play. A lot of brand new numbers out there. Once again, Trayvon Allen, Devin Boss still in at running back. Boss with a couple of nice runs so far in his early up. And there's another jump off sides, encroachment by that Akron North defense. That'll bring the ball inside the 15-yard line, down about the 18. Much more manageable 3rd down and 8 now for the Harding Raiders.
Yeah, obviously unfortunate, the offside call for Akron North, but I think that goes back to the point of, Akron North is still playing hard. They haven't given up. They're still trying to make plays. The defense, these players, they got pride. You remember from your high school days, you wore that jersey, you wore that Letterman's jacket with pride, and, the coaches will tell you, if you make a mistake, I want to see an aggressive mistake. And something like that, unfortunately, 5-yard loss, but it shows you the aggressiveness that they're still willing to show.
And Harding trying a jet sweep the other day. We're going to get another way. Looks like number 43 on that carry.
4th and 12 for the Raiders.
43, Anthony Dukes getting a carry on this drive. It's going to bring up a loss on the play. 4th down and 12 from the 16-yard line. Harding electing to forego the opportunity to field goal. They're going to try to get a 1st down here. I'm sure that Coach Arnold, although he wants these reserves to play harder, he's not trying to run the score up on this Akron North team either.
No, a lot of professionalism.
Allen with the keeper. And Allen's going to go down around the 10-yard line. That's not enough for the 1st down, and Akron North's going to take over on downs at their own 10-yard line with 5:38 to play in the ball game.
Trayvon Allen avoids that initial hit, comes up, meets that safety head on, puts that, lowers that shoulder pad level and delivers a blow, able to fall forward for an extra couple yards. Young quarterback running like a strong running back. Love to see that at this level. Love to see that at this age. His willingness to stick his nose in there and fight for those extra couple yards.
Well, at 6'2", 185, that's not a small quarterback coming at you either. That's a good-sized young man in there, and hopefully he'll round himself out, because that's right now the heir apparent to Elijah Taylor to take this team into 2021. Getting some much-needed repetitions in there to try to get that done as Akron North gets set for a 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. Christian Simmons, who has been quarterbacking all the way, still in there for the Vikings. Hand off to number 8, Swantez Simmons. And Swantez Simmons picks up maybe 3 out to the 13-yard line, brings up a 2nd down and 7 for the Vikings.
Yeah, Allen's got to watch in the last few years a couple different contrasts in the style of how you play quarterback at this level. Obviously, Lynn Bowden was known for his legs, known to be able to take that ball and put it in his arms and make a play. But we can't deny his passing abilities. You look at Taylor's records from passing, they were all held by Lynn Bowden. And so to see kind of that complementary ability.
Simmons completes that pass out to the 30-yard line for a 1st down for the Akron North Vikings, and that may be one of that might be the only first down of the evening for Akron North. I don't recall them moving the chains until this point.
But just to finish the point, you saw somebody in Lynn Bowden that had that elusive ability to be able to tuck the ball and go, be able to complete some deep passes when need be, and then you transition into someone like Elijah Taylor, who I haven't seen him tuck that ball a lot. He does it when he needs to, but he's a pass first quarterback. And then you see somebody like Allen coming in, and just on the early onset of the few plays that we've seen his ability to throw the ball, but we've also seen his ability to run the ball as well. Possibly a great combination of a little bit of Lynn's legs, a little bit of Elijah Taylor's arm. I think that spells a great combination for the Raiders moving forward into the 2021 season.
There's another complete pass for the Akron North Vikings. They pick up their next 1st down as that play gets all the way down into the Raider 45-yard line, and I believe this may be the first time for the Vikings in Raider territory. And there's a handoff up the middle. Gain of about 2 on the play brings up a 2nd down and 8. Akron North Vikings late in the game on the move. Clock still ticking at 3 minutes to play in the contest. Akron North, as we've stated a couple times, fighting hard to the end, so give them all the credit in the world for not only coming down here, knowing that they were big-time underdogs coming in this game, but staying in it and fighting hard to the very end here. And as we get a flag on the play. And that call is going to go against Akron North, and unfortunately, their most promising drive gets sidetracked by a penalty here. Takes it back to the 47-yard line, make it the 48-yard line, brings up a second down and 13 now. Again, clock continuing to run. 2:20 to play in the ball game. And Simmons' pass again is complete, and another first down, but we have another flag as well. So first down, Akron North, but a flag on the play.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be a hold out there. It's usually in the area that they call it. Combine that with the other 5-yard. I don't know if they had a legal formation or a false start, but doesn't matter if you're winning or losing 42-0. Penalties, mental penalties will kill a drive. As you've seen here, as we start winding down in the fourth quarter, most promising drive for Akron, but unfortunately 2 penalties in a row are going to push them back to their side of the 50-yard line.
Simmons back to pass once again. He gets a pass off the sideline, and again, Simmons finally making some completions. Gain of about maybe about 9 on the play. That'll bring up a third down and 8 for the Vikings. You know, we talked about the shortage of players over there, but you can't you can't overestimate the game experience that the Raiders have over the Vikings. They come in here at 0-2. There's no way in the world that this team is in the midseason form that a team like Harding is in right now.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, Harding's been tested, whether it be Benedictine, whether it be Maslin, whether it be the war they went to with Austintown Fitch, as well as the programs of Ursuline and Mooney. You know, Harding has, in fact, I think Harding gained a lot from that Maslin game, even in the loss.
Absolutely.
I also think they gained a lot in the Austintown Fitch game. That was the first game they were able to really start to establish the running game, and they did it with 2 juniors that we hadn't seen all year. I think that progressed into the Columbus game, and then obviously into this game here. We look for big things next week where they're going to see a little more competition and can't start looking forward to the next week, week 3, which it looks like we're on a track to meet up and avenge that loss against Fitch.
Well, after a nice gain by the quarterback on that, looked like the clock might run out, but we have a man down for Akron North, and really hope that that's nothing serious with 10 seconds to play in the ball game. So hopefully this young man gets up and gets off the field under his own power. I look to see if I can pick up a number here. Let's see. And that looks like that is the quarterback who has had a career, Christian Simmons, who has played the whole way. Boy, be a shame to see him get hurt on this, what should have been the last play of the ball game, Ed. So let's hope he gets up and gets himself off the field. He's holding his hands up to his head, so it looks like he's in a little bit of pain down there. They're maybe checking a knee or something, so hopefully this is nothing terribly serious at this point.
Well, and you can tell, I mean, football is a fraternity. You know, what we've been talking about up here all game is being played out down on the field. I think one of the first people out there to check on the young man was the Harding head coach, Steve Arnold. Everyone knows, you know, we understand what the situation is here. Akron North came in highly outmatched by this Harding team. And once again, good to see the young man get up here. Going to be helped off the field. But once again, you know, the first guy you see over there is head coach Steve Arnold. Because just as you had stated, you don't want to see anybody get hurt in this game. You want to get through this game, get through the experience, start looking towards next week. Akron North starting to look towards next year. But nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. Regardless of the situation, when you have a game like this, it just becomes more imperative. You try to keep everybody healthy, and You could see that by one of the first people being out there to check on the young man from Akron North was the Warren Harding head coach, Steve Arnold.
Simmons being helped off the field and putting absolutely no pressure on that right leg of his. So, again, hopefully it's maybe just a sprain or something and nothing serious. A lot of credit to that young man. He stayed in there quarterback all night long. He took a lot of lumps tonight and was actually starting to engineer a drive here late in the ball game. Completed a couple passes, had a couple nice runs, and I think that is going to do it. The clock is started, so we're going to wind this one down. And Harding in the first round of the Division II Region 5 playoffs. Your 7th seeded Harding Raiders. 42-0.
Thank you for your attendance at tonight's.
Yeah, overall, Tom, liked what I saw. They did exactly what they needed to do. They came out, they established the line of scrimmage, established the run game, were able to mix in the short time that they had some passes from Elijah Taylor to his receivers out there. Just a very well-rounded game on the offensive side. Defense, not really much opposition put up against them. They were able to once again establish their side of the line of scrimmage. There was some. The Akron North team came out. They tried to establish that screen pass, but because of the pressure that was put on the quarterback, strictly by the front four, was able to disrupt that. Akron North just never really able to get off to a good start. From start to finish, the Harding team dominated this game. Offense, defense, special teams. You're going to take this. You're going to watch the films real quick. You're going to critique it. Look for some of the negative things. Look to build on some of those fundamentals. But right now, we're off to week 2 in the playoffs. Congratulations to Harding. Congratulations to Akron North on their season. We look forward to returning here next week for the second round. We expect a more competitive game, and I'm sure this Harding team is going to be ready for it.
And that is right. Harding will host a second round playoff game, I believe. According to the brackets, Harding will be playing host to the winner of the Akron Firestone Maple Heights ball game. And again, at last count, I think we had Firestone on top of that contest 9-7. I'm sure that they've got a ways to go yet. Remember, we were finishing early due to a continuous clock and shortened quarters, so that second half flew by. So we'll have to wait and see how the Maple Heights Firestone game pans out. But one of those two teams is going to venture out this way to Mollenkopf Stadium next week. And so we get to bring you one more game this year, and we're looking forward to it. And so hopefully another good outcome. And as you said, Eddie, I'm sure we'll probably see a much more competitive contest next week.
Yeah, there's the game this week. You kind of look at this as a scrimmage, kind of look at this as a warm-up. You really want to perfect some things. The only thing that I was surprised of is because of a game like this, knowing that you're going to the playoffs next week, I would have assumed you would have saw a couple more wrinkles, kind of just throw some stuff out there just to give that team that they play next week just something that they got to concentrate on, even if it's just taking an extra 15, 20 minutes during next week during practice to prepare for something, just to throw the team off. But overall, just an excellent played game, an excellent coached game, exactly what they needed to do. Looking forward to next week, Tom.
We saw some penalties early, so it was nice to see. I think in the second half, well, of course, in the second half we didn't see the starters, but I think getting into the second quarter, where we did have the starters in there, some of those early penalties seemed to, we had some early false starts and offsides early on. We didn't see it in the second quarter, so that tightened up a little bit. So hopefully that won't be an issue either next week for the Raiders.
Yeah, you definitely want to look at things like that, the mental. But, I still concentrate on, you talk about your defensive lineman, coach to stay low, penetrate, rip, get through. Your corners, keeping their eyes on the receiver, not dipping in the backfield. On the special teams, all your fly guys, all your punt team, your kickoff team, maintaining their lanes downfield. There's always something as a coach that you can take from every game just to make sure that the next game that all of those fundamentals are done, even with these new young running backs, concentrating on the fact that if you're taking the ball to the right side of the field, I want to see that ball in your right hand. I want to see you protecting it with your body in the sideline. Same thing with the left-hand side. So there's always some things that the coaches can break these films down, and they can always be coachable moments, no matter what the score is. Win, lose, or draw, there's always a coaching moment available, and even from a game like this, it's the fundamentals. It's perfecting the craft of football. So I'm sure that's what's going to happen tomorrow in films, getting them ready for the second week of the playoffs, and I'm excited. As I said before, that Fitch game, they were able to find their running game. They were able to start establishing that line of scrimmage, and we already know what Elijah Taylor can do with guys like Dom Foster out on the side. So I look forward to next week, a little more competitive game. I still look forward to the Raiders bringing that W and advancing into the playoffs during this 2020 season.
And that will do it for us at Mollenkoff. Once again, your Raiders on top of the Akron North Vikings, 42-0. As we leave you with that absolutely beautiful shot high above Mollenkoff Stadium, showing the lights of Warren as well. And again, that's just one of the things we talked about with the broadcast that Fred Whitaker and his crew have put together. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. You've enjoyed the game tonight. And well, on behalf of Eddie Colbert, wish you guys all a good night. Have a great weekend, and we very much look forward to seeing you back here again next Friday. Good night, Raider Nation.
Good night, everybody.